God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. A new story and a new video, but before starting, don't forget to pray for the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and to grant him peace. Let's begin. Before the beginning of the story, we know that it is a true story and was quoted by the author of the story in an inflected manner. The story begins with a simple Egyptian family consisting of a father named Khalid, a mother named Fatima, and a single son named Abdurrahman. Khalid loved his wife Fatima deeply, even though she had a mild disability in her foot due to an accident she had suffered when she was young, and even though she was 3 years older than him. Fatima says, "Since my marriage to Khalid, he has not made me feel any inferiority. Rather, he has treated me like a crowned queen, and he has brought me closer to God and reminded me that I am not a test and God tests those of his servants who love him." He was credited with my commitment to prayer, memorizing with the Quran, and being close to God Almighty. And God completed his blessing upon us, and they gave us a son who was beautiful in character and morals, and we named him Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman was kind to me and his father, and everyone testifies to his good morals. He also excelled academically, and my husband, Khalid, hoped that Abdurrahman would become a great engineer. Indeed, high school came, and my husband did not spare Abdurrahman anything, whether effort, money, or psychological support. He always told him, "Do what you have to do, and what is good will be provided by God." The exam indeed, the day of the results came, and Abdurrahman went out to get them. The awaited joy was that God had perfected his grace upon us, and Abdurrahman's result was 98. The present means that he will be able to enter the College of Engineers. I called my husband Khalid at work and told him the good news. He was very happy and told me to prepare dinner and sweets. I will stop by my father and mother and bring them with me so that they can celebrate Abdurrahman's success with us. Indeed, Abdurrahman went out and brought me the orders, and I prepared dinner and desserts until my husband returned from work along with his father, mother, sister, and daughter. I don't deny that my heart sank as soon as I saw my sister-in-law, as she only visits us very, very rarely, but I welcomed her and her daughter. As soon as we sat down, she looked at me and Abdurrahman with strange uncomfortable looks. Then she said, "Did you see Fatima, my sister?" My husband, the waiter, did what he did. He kicked me out of the house and wanted to divorce me because I only got 65%. He said I was the reason. Well, I have nothing to do with it. He's the one who was stingy with her and didn't give her lessons. I replied to her and said to her, "Don't be sad, my love. May God guide souls, and you don't know your daughter. May God do what she is doing. May God never bring you anything bad." You find your husband a little upset. Be patient with him, and tomorrow he will calm down and reconcile with you. He will not be able to dispense with you. She responded to a harsh response and said to me, "Of course, and you are not comfortable with anything. Your life and my brother are waiting for you, and your son has brought a large sum to enter the best college He is not like me since the day I got married, and I have not seen a fair day. My heart sank, and I did not respond to her out of respect for my husband, father-in-law, and mother-in-law. My husband was going to respond to her, but my father-in-law, may God bless him, said to her, "What are you doing, Ida? You are so upset. We are coming to rejoice for Abdurrahman. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video." My father-in-law asked me to bring them sweets, but I told them to have dinner first. As we sat on the dinner table for a long time, Ida looked at my son with looks full of hatred and envy, and I did not stop reading the Quran from paper to my son in secret. After we had dinner, my father-in-law wanted to leave, but Khalid, my husband, caught them staying. I wanted to refuse because I was not comfortable with Ida's looks at my son, but I couldn't do anything. My father-in-law refused to stay in and said that he had a lot of errands, and if his mother, sister, and dad wanted to stay in, they were free to do so. Indeed, my father-in-law left and spent the rest of the night, and I said night, and it will pass. The second day I woke up, I found Abdurrahman and his grandmother and his cousin sitting. I did not find Ida. When I asked my mother-in-law about her, she told me that she had gone to visit the saints to pray that God guide her husband. After a while, Ida came back with many bags and said that she had brought clothes for her daughter of university, and she brought each of us a gift. She brought me a scarf and her brother a shirt. The group walked, and Abdurrahman went out with his friends and came back at night. And when his father saw him, he found him wearing a strange bracelet with an iron skull on it. When he asked him, he told him that his friends had bought things and he had nothing to buy from the store. So he bought this piece of clothing. Because my husband is a man who knows God, he was upset with Abdurrahman and told him to take off this show and never wear it again. Abdurrahman touched his father's head and said, "He is her indeed." He took off his hat, went into his room, and slept without eating anything. When we talked to him, we thought he was eating with his friends outside. My husband and I went to sleep, and from here the tragedy began. It was the worst nightmare in my life. I dreamed that I was standing in a sewage pool. May God protect you. It smells very bad. When I looked into the water, I found my son Abdurrahman drowning on it. I tried to save him, but I failed, and he pulled me with him, and we both drowned. I woke up crying and afraid for my son. My husband calmed me down and told me this was just a nightmare, but I insisted that I go check on Abdurrahman. As soon as I entered his room, I smelled a very bad smell. I swear, guys, the same smell of sewage that I smelled in the dream, and I called out to Abdurrahman, but he didn't answer me. I turned on the light and looked at Abdurrahman's bed. I found that he was drowning in water and was also covered in water, and Abdurrahman was sleeping on his face in his chest. I found water that smelled like sewage that had flooded his bed, and his wounds were coming from Abdurrahman's bugs, and the boy could not speak. A voice, and I shouted at the top of my voice, "Follow me, people. My son is dying." Abu Abdurrahman's face quickly saw what was going on, and because we were also in a popular area. The neighbors came to check on us. Khalid and I took our son and put him in the bathroom and changed his clothes. The neighbors, God bless them, changed the bed sheets. But all this while the boy did not speak, and God covered us. He had a far-smithed neighbor who kept pressing Abdurrahman's chest until he came back with water that smelled bad like sewage. He said he must go to the hospital because he ate or drank something contaminated. Indeed, we took him to the hospital and gave him a stomach dialysis, and the doctor said that he might eat or drink something contaminated. Abdurrahman woke up a little and told his father that he had not eaten at all, neither outside nor inside the house. We went and Abdurrahman came back absent-minded and looking at the ceiling again, and we remained in this state for days and days. To be continued. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your opinions in the comments. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God.